What's good, YouTube? Electro J here, and before this video starts, I just want to give you guys some backstory of to what this video is. As you can read by the title, it's called One X-Cellent Scene. Basically, the whole backstory is that last year, in preparation for Avengers Endgame, a YouTuber named NandovMovies, he did a collaboration with a lot of other YouTubers, and each of them were tasked to make a video based on one scene, their favorite scene in the entire MCU. It could have been from any of the movies, it could have been from any movie, whether it was good or bad, it had to be their favorite scene, and they had to explain why. This time, NandovMovies is doing it again. He's doing it again, but he's doing it with the X-Men franchise. So it's been going on for like a day or two, and this time he's doing it with the X-Men films. So from the first X-Men film to Dark Phoenix, YouTubers are able to explain one simple scene that is really what makes it, what one scene makes that movie or the franchise so good. So I thought I should be a part of this. I thought I could do this, and I already know what scene I'm going to talk about, as you read by the title and you saw it by the thumbnail. I'm going to be talking about X-Men Days of Future Past, which is like number 2, which is like one of my favorite X-Men films. So I'm going to be talking about X-Men Days of Future Past, specifically the scene where the X-Men are fighting the Future Sentinels. Now, the reason I say that this is my favorite scene in the entire X-Men franchise is because when X-Men Days of Future Past came out, it had been 14 years since this whole franchise started. And we had gotten to know so many of the characters. We had gotten to know Storm, Wolverine, Professor X, Magneto, Iceman, Kitty Pryde, Colossus, and even Rogue. When she in the Rogue cut, we've known her since the first X-Men film, and it was all leading up to this, because the whole point of the X-Men is to protect the world that fears them. And the real thing that shows that the X-Men have truly learned from their mistakes and they are ready to fight for their lives is in this scene specifically, where this scene and this line that Storm says when, well, I'm pretty sure that was voice crack, a line that Storm says right before the Sentinels attack. I will input it right now.
You can't stop that many.
No, but we can slow them down.
So, as you saw by that scene, Bishop was like, okay, we can't stop them. Bishop is like, we're done. We can't stop that many, because there were like 12 carriers of Sentinels, and they knew that they couldn't stop them. But Storm, she knew that they couldn't stop them, but their whole goal was to just hold off as many of them as possible so they can buy Wolverine more time. And that's what I really loved about that scene. I really loved how, even though they knew that they were going to lose, they knew that they weren't going to survive this. They knew that they weren't going to walk out of there with their lives. They knew that their main goal was to just hold the Sentinels off. They knew that they didn't stand a chance, but they had to hold them off as long as possible. And that's very, I don't know what the correct word is. It's very, I don't know what the correct word is, but it's very persistent of how many threats that these people, that the X-Men have faced. From facing Magneto the first time in X-Men 1, to facing William Stryker in X2, to facing Magneto and Jean Grey in X3, and it's like all the enemies that, not just the X-Men, but Wolverine has faced, all the foes that the X-Men will face in like X-Men Apocalypse and X-Men Dark Phoenix and in X-Men First Class. All of those battles have led them to this moment where they knew that this is their last chance. This was their last chance to save the world from the Sentinels. And they knew that they weren't gonna survive. And I really love how all the characters, including how all the characters, they had their moment to shine. They had even though it was like for a quick moment, they had a moment to show off their abilities. They had a moment to express their powers. They had the time to destroy Sentinels. Like, we saw Bishop get electrocuted by Storm to fuel him up and shoot down at least like 2 Sentinels. wasn't that much, but he did something. He bought some time. We saw Storm use her powers to create a storm, like a windstorm that destroyed some of the that damaged some of the carriers, and like it just launched more of the Sentinels over to them. But we saw Magneto use the X-Jet to like strip the X-Jet apart, and Storm use her power to use it as a bomb to destroy some of the carriers and destroy some of the Sentinels. We saw Blink use her powers to point the fire that the Sentinels were shooting to other Sentinels. We saw Colossus punch some Sentinels. We saw Sunspot shoot his own fire beams at them. We saw so many characters that we hadn't met before, and characters that we loved, use their abilities to hold off as long as they could to stop the Sentinels. And that's what I really love. I really love that no matter how bad the odds are, the X-Men will keep fighting. That's what the whole X-Men is about. No matter how many times they were so close to defeat in all the in all the films, because they were close to losing in all of the films, they somehow figured out a way to win. And they really knew how to win in X-Men Days of Future Past, which was to send Wolverine into the past. But the thing that like really stands out to me in this scene is sacrifice. Sacrifice is what they gave. They gave up their lives to fight, to save the world, to help as many people as they could. And I really love how each of them sacrificed themselves to hold the Sentinels off. And that's really what I loved about, that's what I really love about the X-Men. The X-Men aren't just like a regular superhero team. They're a team where the world fears and hates them, but yet they still fight. And that's why I love this scene, because even though the X-Men know that they're gonna lose, they know that they're still gonna fight. They're still gonna fight till the very end, and we've seen them fight through impending odds in every single film. I'm just repeating myself at this point, but especially, and like we know how like we see how like when Magneto is giving his speech, and like we see how they're still fighting, especially with one of the characters, Sunspot. When he's fighting against 3 Sentinels, we see Sunspot. Even though he's fighting 3 Sentinels, and one of them cuts his arm off, he is still fighting. Even though he lost an arm, he's still fighting until one of them kicks him over to another Sentinel and kills him. But he didn't give up. He didn't give up the moment he lost his arm. He still kept fighting. And same thing with Blink. She kept on throwing her portals around just to shoot the Sentinels out. Iceman, he sacrificed himself to hold them off. And like Magneto, even though he got stabbed, he still used his powers to hold the door that kept him, Professor X, Kitty, Iceman, and Wolverine away from everyone else. And it was really just like, this shows that everyone has kind of put their differences aside. They put their enemies, they put themselves aside and realized the one enemy is the Sentinels, and they need to stop them. And that's what I really loved about it. That's why this is my favorite scene, because they knew that they were going to lose, but they kept on fighting. That was the whole premise of that scene. It was to show that the X-Men, even though there's so many of them there's so few of them left, and the Sentinels are all coming, and they know that they're going to lose, they will keep fighting. And that's pretty much it. That's why I think that this scene is the most excellent, no pun intended, this is the most excellent scene in the entire X-Men franchise. So I hope you enjoyed it. You can do this too. You can be a part of this thing that Nando is doing. Just make a video and send it to him on Twitter, and you might be part of his playlist. You might be a part of the playlist. And I hope that he sees this, and yeah. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video of me explaining why the X-Men versus the Future Sentinels was the best scene in the entire X-Men franchise. I hope you enjoyed. I'm Electro J. Smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you'll never miss another video. I'm Electro J. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.